Darkness has covered the land again. Not the kind born from the turning of the sun, but the kind that seeps from within men. A silence that has forgotten prayer, a strength that has bowed to comfort, a courage that has been traded for approval. The towers of Babylon rise in every city, their glass faces reflecting men who no longer know their names. They scroll through illusion while their spirits starve. Their swords rust in the sheath, their armor lies buried beneath convenience, and the word that once burned on their tongues is now a whisper drowned by noise. The enemy does not come with horns or fire. He comes softly, through apathy, through distraction, through pride disguised as peace. He says, "Rest now, warrior. The war is old. Let others fight." And so men sleep. While their sons forget how to kneel, their daughters forget the sacred worth of purity, and their nations bleed under banners that no longer bear the cross. Do you not feel it? The trembling beneath the soil, the call that shakes the bones of the faithful. For the Lord is gathering his remnant again, the last watchmen, the sons who will not run when the trumpet sounds. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. And still that same question thunders across the ages. Who will go? Who will rise when others bow? Who will stand in the breach while the world mocks their faith? Who will take up the armor not of flesh, but of fire and of truth? This is the hour of the opening strike. So answer now, man of dust and breath. Will you sleep with the world, or wake with the chosen? For the Lord's army is not built on comfort. It is forged in caves, on knees bruised in the dark, under the weight of prayers no one hears but heaven. The Templars of old did not wait for permission. They were bound by vow, not applause. They carried the cross on their chest, and the word like a blade between their ribs. Their code was carved not in parchment, but in obedience. They walked through nations of fire, not seeking death, but fearing no part of it, for they knew that death itself bends to the one who conquered the grave. And so must you, for the war has never ended. Only the armor has changed. The field is now the mind. The siege is upon the heart, and the weapon is no longer iron, but conviction. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 13. To stand, that single command divides the faithful from the fallen. Do not seek victory in the applause of the weak. Seek endurance in the silence of the strong. For when you kneel in secret, heaven hears. When you fall and rise again, hell trembles. Every man will one day stand before the King, his wealth forgotten, his titles dust. Only his faith will remain, a sword weighed in divine balance. You are called to be that sword, tempered, tested, true. Not by your own merit, but by his refining fire, the same fire that burned in the bush, the same fire that fell on Mount Carmel, the same fire that forged the prophets into iron. And so the voice calls you now, not to kill, but to conquer the corruption within, not to build temples of stone, but of spirit. For the modern Templar is not a soldier of empire, but of eternity. He rides no horse, he carries no banner, he moves unseen, armored in prayer, marching through cities of sin like salt through decay. He speaks when others curse, he endures when others fall, he forgives when vengeance burns. And though the world may never know his name, heaven records every step. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives unto death. Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. This is the creed of the new brotherhood. to live as though eternity watches every motion, to fight unseen battles and still give thanks, to bear the cross with silence and to bleed with purpose. So stand up, son of dust. You have been chosen for the final watch. The night is long, but the dawn is written. The question remains, and it will burn through your sleep until you answer it. Will you become what you were made to be? A living temple, a shield of faith, a modern Templar. The road does not grow easier once you rise. The light you carry begins to expose everything false within you. Every compromise you once called peace, every indulgence you once named freedom. For obedience is not comfort, it is crucifixion. And every man who truly follows Christ must one day face Gethsemane within his own heart. There, beneath the weight of unseen agony, you will feel what the Son felt when he said, "Not my will, but yours be done." That is the moment the sword enters the soul, the moment where self must die for the spirit to live. You will not be applauded for this. No one will see the blood that falls in prayer, but heaven counts every drop. For the true warrior of faith is not refined in triumph, but in the furnace of silence. I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9. The modern Templar must walk through that fire willingly. The world will call it madness, but madness is what faith looks like to the faithless. They will say, "You are wasting your life." They cannot see that you are trading dust for glory. When you feel the heat rise, do not flee, for this is the second strike. What remains in you that still resists the flame? Lay it down. Your pride, your anger, your thirst to be seen. The fire does not come to destroy, but to purify. To burn away the dross until only steel remains. Until your soul reflects the image of the one who made it. For it is not the sword that gives the knight his worth. It is the hand that forged it. And if the Maker must strike you again and again upon the anvil of trial, then let him strike. For every blow from heaven is mercy in disguise. Do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor detest his correction, for whom the Lord loves, he disciplines. Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 11. This is how God trains his soldiers, through delay, through denial, through desert silence. You will wander in wastelands of unanswered prayer, feel the thirst of the prophet, the loneliness of David hiding in Adullam, the ache of Jeremiah weeping over a city that will not repent. And you will think, has he forgotten me? But the Lord never forgets his own. He breaks you to reveal what cannot be broken. He empties you to fill you with what cannot be taken. He silences you to teach you a language only heaven understands. The world fears this process. They flee the furnace. They medicate the ache. They call their comfort balance and their silence peace. But you were not called to balance. You were called to obedience. There will come a night when even prayer feels like ash in your mouth. You will kneel and hear nothing. You will cry and feel no answer. But that silence, that void, is the Master's forge. It is there that faith becomes more than belief. It becomes endurance. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1. Do not wait for signs. Do not chase emotion. The fire that burns without smoke is the fire of the Spirit, unseen yet unquenchable. Remember this. Every trial you endure becomes a wall rebuilt in Zion. Every tear, a stone laid in the temple of your soul. Every unseen act of obedience, a banner raised before the throne. So stand firm in the furnace, modern Templar. Let the heat forge your silence into strength, your pain into praise, your fear into faith. And when the hammer falls again, when the world mocks your devotion, when even your brothers turn away, stand. For one day you will emerge from the flame clothed in light, and the scars that shame you now will shine like armor before the King. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Romans chapter 8, verse 18. This is the vow of the Templar, to endure purification without bitterness, to bleed without hatred, to love without weakness. The world calls this impossible, but the impossible is the ground where faith is born. The church was not founded by men who sought safety. It was founded by men who embraced the cross, not as a symbol, but as a command. You are their heir. The bloodline of the faithful runs through your veins. And though the earth trembles and empires fall, you carry the same fire that once split seas, the same breath that raised the dead, the same word that cast down kings. The modern Templar does not wait for battle. He wakes each day already armed. His thoughts are his fortress, his faith his shield, his prayer the edge of his blade. He does not pray for victory. He prays to remain faithful until the end. For this war is not of nations, it is of hearts. And the heart that bows only to Christ is a fortress no darkness can breach. The hour has come when silence must become action. The world no longer hides its rebellion. It wears blasphemy like armor and calls corruption freedom. And still, many men stand watching, unarmored, unbent, unmoved. But the time for watching is over. The gates have opened, and the enemy no longer whispers, he roars. And if you still think this battle is fought with hands alone, you have already fallen. This is not a war of steel, but of surrender. Not of swords, but of spirit. And every man who calls himself faithful must now decide whether he serves the kingdom above or the kingdom of dust. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. Psalm chapter 1, 144, verse 1. Yes, even now he trains you. Every trial you faced was not punishment, but preparation. Every loss was a lesson. Every wound, a prophecy written in your own blood. The modern Templar stands not because he is fearless, but because he has seen fear and chosen faith anyway. He walks through the marketplace of Babylon, untempted by its gold, untouched by its noise. His silence is his fortress, his conviction, his sword. And when others tremble before kings, he kneels before the King of Kings. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, I have chosen you out of it. Therefore the world hates you. John chapter 15, verse 19. So let it hate you, for hatred from the world is proof of loyalty to heaven. Let them mock your prayer, let them laugh at your vow, for their laughter will one day turn to silence when the trumpet sounds. You were not made to blend in with ashes. You were made to be fire, and fire does not apologize for burning. This is the moment of the final strike, when the world calls you mad for standing. Will you still stand? This is the question that separates the chosen from the called. For the called hear the word, but the chosen live it. The chosen stand in the street when no one kneels beside them. The chosen carry the cross when no one sees them bleed. The chosen fight for purity in a world that calls holiness weakness. The last stand will not be fought on open fields, but in the quiet hearts of men who refuse to bow. In homes where fathers lead their sons in prayer. In churches that preach truth though the world spits in their faces. in men who forgive instead of curse, and love even those who strike them. And though the battle may rage until your last breath, know this: victory was written before your first. For no sword of flesh can pierce the spirit. No darkness can swallow the light of the faithful, and no power in hell can undo what was sealed by blood. So take your place among the remnant, the sons of the final watch, the builders of the unseen walls, the last defenders of a faith the world no longer remembers, but heaven has never forgotten. You are the continuation of a vow older than empires, a brotherhood not bound by flag, but by faith, a covenant that no decay can touch. Rise, Templar of the Spirit. Your armor is ready. Your command has been spoken, and the Lord himself stands before you, not asking for your strength, but for your surrender. The march has begun. The light moves forward, and every step you take now echoes through eternity. The final light breaks through the storm, not sunlight, but judgment. It descends upon the earth like a sword through fog, revealing every soul for what it truly is. And in that light, all masks fall. The proud are exposed, the false are silenced. Only truth remains standing. You will see it with your own eyes. The cities built on arrogance crumble like dust between the fingers of God. The towers that touch the sky will melt into shadow, and every man will face the question he spent his life avoiding: whom did you serve? For no crown survives the fire of eternity. No empire can buy its way into the kingdom, and the deeds of men, though forgotten by the world, are weighed on scales no mortal hand can tilt. For the Lord of hosts has a day against all that is proud and lofty, against all that is lifted up, and it shall be brought low. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 12. Now the heavens stir, the veil trembles, and the Lamb who was slain stands in glory, his eyes as flame, his voice like many waters. He rides not to plead, but to reign. And behind him rides the host of the faithful, those who never bowed to the world's gold, those who carried the cross through the valley of shame, those who did not trade eternity for comfort. You will recognize them. Their armor shines with endurance. Their faces bear the marks of mercy. Their steps resound like thunder. For every act of faith has become a weapon in his hand. So rise. This is the hour of decision, the hour where belief becomes command, the hour where the final brotherhood stands, not as soldiers, but as witnesses to the living God. The time for half measures is gone. You cannot serve both light and shadow. You cannot pray in secret and live in rebellion. You cannot carry the cross with one hand and comfort with the other. So choose. When the trumpet sounds, and the heavens open, and the throne burns white, where will you stand? And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. This is not the end. This is the unveiling, the moment when the veil is torn forever, and every faithful man stands revealed, not as dust, but as a son of light, a keeper of the covenant. The modern Templar is not crowned for conquest. He is crowned for endurance, for holding the line when others fled, for guarding the flame when all else went dark. So lift your eyes, warrior of faith. Your command has been fulfilled. Your purpose stands eternal. The war may rage until your final breath, but when it ends, you will not fall with the world. You will rise with the King. For the Lord calls not the strong, but the steadfast, not the perfect, but the faithful. And though the night grows darker, the remnant will burn brighter, until the dawn no man can dim. The last stand is not defeat. It is devotion. It is the oath of the man who still believes when belief costs everything. So stand now, Son of Heaven. Let the world see what cannot be broken. Let hell remember your name in silence. And let every breath from this moment forward be your vow, to fight without hatred, to endure without pride, to love without fear. For this is the creed of the modern Templar, to die daily and rise eternal. And when the trumpet calls again, you will not tremble. You will not hide. You will step forward, armor gleaming in divine light, and hear the only words that matter. Well done, good and faithful servant.